Hello everyone, my name is Laser Spirit and welcome to my YouTube channel, the channel where I talk about spirituality, psychology, personal growth and development, share different practices with you, and where I talk also about tarot and give monthly tarot forecasts and advice. In this video, it is about tarot. I decided to call it Tarot Cards One-on-One. And I want to talk in general about what is tarot. Maybe if you're a newbie and you're just starting with tarot, you've never used it before, you don't know where to start, what is it about, how to understand it. I feel like I get a lot of people who misunderstand what is tarot, and every time new clients are coming in, I always have to explain one more time and remind them couple things when it comes to tarot. So we'll talk about it today in this video. I have a lot of my personal decks here today with me. Those decks will go through everything. I will explain, if you're a beginner, what deck is best to start with. We'll talk about that. So when we talk about tarot cards and in general what is tarot, many people, many clients that come to me, they start thinking that I'm a fortune teller, that I will see their future and I will tell them what they should expect, at what date, what time. We can help come up with a forecast for tarot, but I always tell my client I'm not a fortune teller. I don't have a crystal ball, and I do believe that future can change. Future can change in any moment of your life. When we do the tarot readings, or when we do the forecast for the month, for a week, for example, we are based, like all the readings we do, they're based on this present time. I'm reading your subconscious mind. That's the whole idea. The whole idea about tarot, that all the answers are already inside of you. That's why sometimes when I do the readings, many people are shocked, like really shocked, that it could be that accurate, that I know everything about them, everything about their life. And as I always say, the answers are already inside of you. And tarot just helps us to put it all out. Just gives you extra support, just gives you extra guidance. And when it comes to the readings related to the future, to different forecasts, or for example, some clients come to me and ask me like, am I going to be with this partner? Should I break up with this partner? I want to leave him. And I will never tell you what to do. It's not my responsibility to, and I don't want to take another person's karma on me, and it is your responsibility only to make all those choices and decisions. I can help you with your decision and choice. I can guide you with that, but the only person who is here to decide is you. And if you ask me, for example, about the partner, should I break up with my partner? I will tell you, okay, this is the situation A, that's how everything will look like if you are gonna stay with him. That's kind of things you need to remember, pay attention to. That's what you should expect. And that's the case B, if you decide to break up, that's what you should expect. And which path and which case to pick, it's, again, as I said, your choice. And I'm not here to tell you exactly, no, you should do this and you should do this. I'm not here to do that. I'm just, as I said before, I'm just here to help you to find the answers. Maybe you're feeling lost, maybe you're feeling tangled and you don't know what's going on in your life and you need some extra guidance. That's what I'm here for, to help you to do that. So if you're new with tarot, if you haven't worked that much with tarot, I want to just make sure that when you start working with the clients, that you explain them what is tarot. Because there are a lot of misconceptions and misunderstandings about tarot, how it works. And some people come to me and some people ask very interesting questions, and I just say like, unfortunately, I cannot tell you this. Like, for example, moving. To what country should I move? The tarot card will not tell you like, oh, you should move, pick a card. Oh, this is Canada. Oh, this is England. Oh, this is, I don't know, New Zealand. And this is China. And you move to this place. No, the tarot cards are not gonna tell you the exact answers like this. I always tell people, okay, what are your choices? What are your choices? Where do you want to go potentially? And let's see how it's going to be for you. Okay, you want potentially move to Canada. That's what's going to happen if you move. That's the situation. Okay, well, let's compare. Let's say you want to move to Portugal. Let's compare how Portugal is going to look like as well. And you want to move potentially to Italy. Okay, let's see how Italy is going to look for you specifically. And then we compare all these three countries, for example, and we can see which one is better depending on what you are looking for. What type of energy do you need in the city? What type of energy you want to have around you? So that's why we will look on tarot cards, using the tarot readings to help you to find all those answers, to find if you're struggling with understanding why certain things are not working out in your life. Come and use tarot, and you can help yourself as well. Like, you can do readings for yourself. That's how I started. I started practicing and doing readings for myself. It's just a little bit tricky for yourself. You become a little bit biased. It's just from my experience later on in your life. Maybe if you practice tarot, maybe you feel it differently. But for me, I become a little bit biased. And if I don't like some of the cards, I will pull the cards again, and I will interrupt them in my own way, how I want things to be and look like. So that's why I usually go to another person, to another tarot reader or astrologist who can help me as well to find the answers. Like, I need the view from the side. Maybe it will be the same cards, but I need another person to tell me all of this. Some of the decks. So that's why the first we were talking about that you need to clearly state and let people know what is tarot. How do you work? What in general your work? Maybe sometimes some of the people, they work online and they do the readings one-on-one online through the phone calls or Zoom calls. Some people only do in person, or some people, for example, me, I don't meet online, I don't meet in person. I just use the voice messages. I just prefer that kind of format because there are people from all over the world. It's hard to find time, and voice message always stays with them, so they can come back, they can listen to it again, especially it's a forecast for the next 3 months, let's say. So you can always come back, you can reflect, and I take a picture of the reading, I send it so people can see it as well. That's my type of work. That's my style. So come up with a style what works best for you, and explain it all to the clients how your work is happening. The second one, I just kind of try to discuss it, is also the questions you ask. The questions, some people, they don't know how to ask the question. They don't know what question should I ask? I don't know how to ask. I always say to people, just write it down. Just write your thoughts to me and I will figure it out. I will come up with a question by myself. Because I know what questions should I ask to the cards. I know what kind of readings can I potentially do, and based on this, I come up with a question. Let's say I want to move to another country, and person says like, oh, I want to move, but I don't know when or where should I move. So that's how I gave you the example. I started asking, do you have any options? Have you been thinking about something? Do you have any dreams if you want to move somewhere? Probably you've had some choices or options you've been thinking about. Or the person wants to start another project, or the person wants to start a new job. I always ask, okay, are there any other options? Do you have anything? Let's see what is going on with your current job. So I always see the current situation as well. Like, okay, let's see what's happening. What's the problem with your current job? Maybe you should actually stay. Maybe it's not time yet to leave. I've had many cases like this when people were complaining about jobs, and we would do the reading and we would see what else they need to learn out of this job, what skills they need to gain out of this job. And then later on, after a couple months, they come back to me saying that you were right. I didn't see it from that perspective, but now I see it, and I see so many amazing and great things with this job. And before that, it was very bad and depressing. Sometimes I can say, no, leave right away. You gotta do why you staying still there. So learning how to ask the question and helping people they may not know the question right away. They may just feel like, I'm lost in life, everything is crashing, I don't know what's going on. So you can just slowly start doing the readings and seeing, okay, what is the case? What's happening? Just do the reading, seeing what is the state of the person, what is the situation, how you can help, what is the key to the solution to this problem. So you can do it all, and that would be the second point, important one when you start working with the clients. The third point is your tarot deck. For example, this was my first tarot deck. Was gifted to me by my grandpa while he was traveling when I was at the age of 14 or 15. And I actually didn't use it at that age. I was so amazed by this. First of all, I loved it so much. And why I didn't use it, because I think it is in German or it is in French. So the languages I didn't know. Or Spanish, I think it is. Not even French, I think it's Spanish. I don't know why this mix, but some of the unknown languages. And I just didn't understand it. I didn't understand how to use it when I was 15, which was over a decade ago. And the problem with Marseille Tarot, it's the origins. When you find, for example, Two of Pentacles, on Two of Pentacles, it will say the year of the origins of the deck. And the problem with this deck, I found it, for example, here. You see the years, that's origins. So originally this deck was invented in 1748, and it was printed, the final design maybe redone in 1930. This deck, the final version of it, whatever I'm holding right now, it was revised in 1930. So, but it's been since 18th century. What happens here, there are only three colors: yellow, blue, and red, and black and white, of course. I mean, the contrast colors. Why? Because back then, if we talk about printing, there were not a lot of colors available. That were the colors which were potentially used for printing the deck. What happens here is, if it's not the major arcana, the major arcanas, they have like these images, like for example, the tower, everything is crashing, or like for example, King of Wands. You can probably already guess it as well. I don't know what language is it here. If you speak this language, please let me know. I need to check. I don't actually remember. I just need to use Google Translator for this. But all other cards, they're so straightforward. If it's Ace of Pentacles, it's gonna look like this. If it's 3 wands, it would be 3 wands. If it's, I don't know, let me find another card. If it's 8 of wands, exactly 8 of wands. So when you are just starting, Pentacles, for example, 8 of Pentacles, just 8 of Pentacles. When you're just starting, or I'm gonna say this phrase so many times because I just want to show you. Yeah, it is. That's it. 10 of cups. 10 cups. What else do you need? When you're just starting, this is not the best deck to use. It is a little bit complicated because when you're studying, you want to start building, because it's a lot of cards to remember. First of all, let's talk about that, right? It's a lot of cards to recognize, to memorize, and the meanings of them. And of course, when you have a visual understanding, it's easier to see, it's easier to feel the energy, it's easier to see the person on that card, what's going on. I always recommend starting with the basic, with the Rider Tarot deck. I have it here as well. Let me show you. I use it a lot, as you could see. It's the Rider Tarot deck. And I recommend using this deck if you're just starting, because that's the basics. That's the foundation of Tarot. Tarot of Rider, it's the foundation. Like, for example, same 10 of Cups, what I just showed you. So look at this and this. Probably if you know nothing about Tarot, you would, when you pull this card, you will feel the energy. You will feel the mood. You will understand what the card is about. We see people, we see kids, family, rainbows, everyone is so happy. Here, no clue. If I don't know what 10 of Cups mean by just looking at this card, it's not gonna make any sense to me. Okay, that's the problem with a Marcel tarot deck, because you just have no clue. And that's why when I started with a Marcel tarot deck, it was very hard for me. It was very hard for me to actually memorize everything, to memorize the cards, because I couldn't put the associations. I couldn't put all these beautiful images. I couldn't put all these energies and mood, how everything is going. Like, let's say Two of Cups. It's just, again, just by looking at the picture, you can see what's going on here. Like relationships, people are uniting, union, like just come up with some keywords. But if you just look at the Two of Cups in Marcel deck, you will be like, no clue, no idea. So that's why I recommend starting with the Rider Tarot deck. It's the basics, it's a foundation. That's where I would say all the majority of courses, educational courses on tarot are based on, and different resources are based on the Rider Tarot deck. And some people come to me that they use other decks, like, 21st, modern 21st century decks. They're good as well. Like, if they're very colorful with lots of pictures. I have this beautiful illuminated deck, for example. Maybe if I find that 10 of Cups again, they are very descriptive as well. Like, you can understand the things from this deck as well. Like, you look how it is very beautiful. It is a beautiful deck. But still, the foundations and the meanings of all of those decks are coming from where? From Rider Tarot deck. So that's why if you're just starting, I would recommend you to get a Rider Tarot deck. So it's easier to study, it's easier to understand the meaning behind the card. Because sometimes the new 21st century decks, recent decks, modern decks, they miss some of the important points when it comes to drawings, when it comes to illustrations. And Rider deck, they have them all. Like, for example, why some swords are done and why he's still holding some swords. There is a meaning behind it. There's something for a reason. And like, let's say in another deck, it's going to be completely different. And that's why it loses the meaning. But there is a magic behind having white than to have multiple different tarot decks, you would say. I have even more here. I have this, the Aleister Crowley deck. If you know who Aleister Crowley is, or if you don't, I would recommend to study. If you especially working with esoterics, if you're working with tarot, that would be worth knowing more about him and his background. But I have different decks. Like, let's say I have the Aleister Crowley deck, I have my Marcel tarot deck, I have my Rider tarot deck, and I have my Illuminated tarot deck as well. And people ask me, like, do you use them all? Why do you need that many tarot decks? They're all different. They're all different, first of all, with all their drawings, illustrations, and yes, because they're different with their drawing and illustrations, some, even the same cards, they can mean different things based on the different deck, based on the different illustration, the person who created them, the thoughts they put into it. And each deck has its own energy. And each deck has, for my deck, some of the decks, like let's say a Marcel tarot deck, it's very wise and mature deck, and it tricks me when I start asking questions about relationships. For example, this deck doesn't like the questions about relationships. It's more complicated matters when we have to solve. The Rider tarot deck I use for almost all the cases, maybe except some things related to career, related to self-potential. For example, this Illuminated tarot deck, it is very good for work, for business purposes. I use it a lot when clients are coming to me about business ideas. I don't know what to choose, I don't know what to do for a career, to realizing myself, my potential. This one, I do all the relationships. I would never do the relationships with this deck, for example, because this deck doesn't like it. I get not the best card, so I can see that the deck is starting to play with me. This deck has also the different energy. It's more, I have it for health related matters, or because I got it recently. I still need to analyze it, and do more work with this deck. But you need to identify. That's another step. When you get your deck, there is a series of questions you can ask your deck, and there's a specific reading you can potentially do when you just meeting with your deck. There are two readings. Like, let's say you got a new deck, brand new deck, and there is a reading which is called, it's introduction. Let's introduce each other, and let's introduce each other and help each other to understand who we are and what are we here for. And I wrote down all the questions so I don't forget or I don't miss anything. And when it comes, there are 6 questions. 6 questions you gotta ask your deck and do the reading. So the first time you meet your deck, start tossing the cards and start asking the question. The first question would be, what is the character? What is the behavior of this deck? What is it about? Like, what kind of deck is it? Second question is, what type of topics, or in general, what topics this deck would love to talk to me about? Favorite topics. The third question's opposite. What type of topics or questions this deck does not want to get or does not want to be asked? Fourth question, reading the card number 4, you will pull. Why this deck was given to me? What are the main lessons I need to understand? Why was this deck given to me? What do I need to understand and what do I need to learn? Okay, that's number 4. Number 5, what is the best way to understand the deck? And number 6, what is going to be the result of my work using this deck after 1 year? What should I expect after a year working with this deck? So this reading I call an introduction reading. We introduce to each other. We get introduced to each other. We're trying to understand and ask this deck, okay, what's going on? What do you like? What you don't like? What questions do you want to get? What you don't want to get? So we kind of get a better understanding about the energy of this deck. And then we have the second reading. I always say to do them together because they complement each other. And the second reading also has 6 questions. And the second reading is called, we are actually introducing ourselves. And the second reading is the first question. You ask how this deck, like what this deck thinks about me. So what kind of person I am for this deck, how she sees me, how this deck sees me. Second question you're gonna ask is, what are my strengths? So you ask deck what kind of strengths this deck sees in you. The second questions we had about strengths, we're gonna talk about weaknesses. So what are my weaknesses? So some areas for improvements, right? The fourth question is how my relationships are gonna go with this deck. What kind of relationships, communications I should expect from this deck. Question number 5, what questions or like whatever clients ask me, what topics are more in priority for me? What I want to know. The first reading was about the deck, what deck wants to know and to answer you. And now it's like, what do we want to know? Like, why do we need this deck? And the question number 6 is, what is the main advice for me for the next year? So if in the previous questions and if in the previous reading, we just asked about what is going to be the result of my work after a year, we're focused on the end result. And for this reading is about advice. What is advice for me for the next year? Maybe I'm lacking some knowledge, I'm lacking some expertise, and you will get cards which are focused on the knowledge, which are focused on studying and education. So even if you are just starting and you're not going to understand the meanings of the cards, try looking at the pictures. What does this picture mean to you? If this picture, this drawing, this illustration, is it to you about love, relationships? So we're talking about, I don't know, let's say I'll pull randomly Princess of Cups. I don't know. We'll get this one. What this deck wants to talk about. And what is this card for you? Is this card for you about relationships? Is this card about some freedom and self-realization in life? What is it for you? And then, of course, you can go and open the manual, old guides. Every single deck which you get, it has the book, right? It has the guide with the meanings of the deck. So every single one. So you can go and read. Of course, it's not super intense in terms of the information there. So you will still have to go and study and find more about this, but you can get a key understanding about it, right? You can get the key understanding what is the character of this deck. You can, by pulling the card, you can understand. Is it a good? Maybe the card would be so negative and aggressive, and maybe the card would be so nice and cute with a nice and beautiful color, so you can see the energy right away. But I always say to people that are coming to me who are new to tarot to do this kind of reading so they get a better understanding. Recently, for example, I had a person, we were doing this together, doing this reading together, so I can help to identify all the cards and what they mean. And there was a card, what this deck wants to talk about. And it was a lot about the relationships and love. And the second reading we did, what topics are interesting for me to know, also was the same about the relationships and love, exactly the same card. The person pulled out exactly the same card, and it was a teenager girl. Of course, they want to talk about relationships, they want to talk about guys, boys, and if people are coming to them, their friends, their girlfriends, they want to talk more about that as well. So it's focusing more on that. My decks are not really a lot of decks about relationships, only one. Majority of my decks, or I feel like just in general, what kind of people are coming to me, mostly focused on career, on purpose, on mission, moving, traveling, and going to a new place, cannot make decisions, cannot make choices. What should I do? What should I do? That's, I feel like, the most frequently asked question that the people are coming to me. What should I do? What should I do about that? But that was the basics, the basic foundation about if you're just starting to work with tarot, those kind of important things you gotta remember. Come up with a style which works so you understand your deck, explain the client what is a tarot, maybe you could create a handbook for yourself which you can share with people. How to do that, how to do the reading, what is your, as I said, your style. Maybe you like meeting in person and you want other people pulling the cards. I personally don't do that. I don't like an idea of other people pulling the cards for themselves, because if I do it myself, I can be 1000% confident in the card I am pulling, and I'm taking the full responsibility for that. When another person pulls, I'm a little bit skeptical about it. And I only touch my own deck and do my own readings. Of course, people can pull the cards if you want. I'm not that strict about it. Some people ask me, like, if we're around, like, can I touch your deck? Can I see it? I was like, yeah, totally, go ahead. I'll just clean the energy later on. But when it comes to the readings, I do it all myself. It's just, in my opinion, this is how I feel. I want to be responsible for the cards I am pulling, and if another person pulled the card, and I cannot guarantee, I cannot make sure that it is the correct card, it is the correct reading, and all of those things. So I'm trying to avoid that. But maybe it's working for you, maybe it's your style. So try to come up with your own style. Try to play around. If you're just starting, as I said, do daily readings for yourself. I remember I was doing daily forecasts for myself. And after the day, at the end of the day, like in the morning, I will do the daily forecast for the day. I will write down the card, what I'm thinking about it, like just understanding, learning about it, some keywords. And at the end of the day, I will reflect on it. how did it turn out, what events happened, what things to expect. For now, I already know, like if in the morning I get the three of swords, for example, I already know that how things are gonna go. If I know that there will be tower, I remember I don't get a lot of like towers, for example. Like I think I only had it once in my life when I was studying all of this. So I got a tower, and on that date I got my first ever speeding ticket. I never got speeding tickets in my driving career. So I've been driving for like 8 or 9 years, and I've never had a single ticket. And this tower happened. So every time, if in the morning I get a tower, I know that I gotta be slowly. When I'm driving, I'm gonna be careful when I'm driving, because that's what already happened before. That's how the tower turned out. To me. So it's just interesting to reflect as well. It's interesting to analyze. I highly encourage you to do that and write it down, put it down, all your notes. I have a separate notepad, for example, for that, where I put all the notes about my tarot clients, about the cards, about the readings. I'm seeing and finding the correlations. Sometimes I may do the same reading twice using the different decks, seeing how the decks are reacting, how decks are responding. And maybe another tip and another advice, I personally don't do the same reading more than twice in a row using the same deck, because after that the cards, they start having fun with you and they start tricking you. That's personally from my experience. No more than twice. If I do the forecast for the day, let's say I pull one card and I want to get another one, and I ask one more time, so I will get 2 cards maximum. I will ask this question twice maximum. If I want to know one more, I'll go to another deck, but I limit the usage of one deck to 2 similar readings in a row. Otherwise, as I said, the cards are all over the place, and it just comes with practice. Later on, you will start feeling and seeing when cards are trying to trick you and having fun, and when they're not responding. It is also about your emotional state. I don't do the readings when I feel down. I don't do the readings when I'm feeling bad, when I'm sick, completely out of energy, I don't have any resources. I know that nothing good is going to get out of those readings. So your state, your body, your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health are also very important. And don't be biased. That's not the key advice. Don't be biased. I tell people everything. Like, of course, I never say, like, when people come to me, as I told you, like some people ask me, like, or am I going to get married? When I'm going to get married? Am I going to get married to this guy? I never say yes or no exactly. Yes, you will marry to this person. No, you will not. I never say that. I'm not here to take the responsibility for that. I don't know, and everything can change. Maybe right now it is one way, tomorrow you're going to do some actions and it's going to change completely. I don't know. Like, tarot is based on this present moment. You are reading your subconscious mind or reading the subconscious space in general, reading the energy around you in general. So I can just say, like, okay, that's what's gonna happen if you're gonna be together, or in general, is it a nice guy, is it a good guy, should you be with him, right, or not? And I can tell you this, I can help you with that, but telling you exactly yes, no, I'm not doing that. So it's your choice, it's your practice, right? Everyone works differently, and everyone works different working style and reading style and using the tarot, because tarot, it's a huge world. I've been in tarot for over 3 years now, and I keep on learning and learning and learning, and it's never ending story. You always learn, especially when you get new decks. It's a new opportunity to learn, new opportunity to explore things, and some new cards and some new illustrations. For example, like I got this Aleister Crowley deck, right? It's completely different. I never worked with that. I never learned anything about his energy, his work. So I just decided to dive deeper and understand the meaning behind the cards and everything. So study, analyze, and by studying, by practicing and understanding the cards, it will take you far. But that was it for today. Thank you everyone for watching this video. Thank you for your interest, and let me know what type of videos you want to have more in the future. If you want to know more about tarot and how to do the readings, let me know. But otherwise, have a lovely rest of your day. Bye bye.